Hello and welcome everybody to the latest edition of the Buy Round interview show. Today I'm joined by current Melbourne Storm player, Queensland Origin representative and Australian representative, and also a fellow British passport holder, I believe.
Oh, not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet.
Harry Grant, by the way.
How you going?
I'm doing well. What do you mean not yet as a British passport holder?
I could get one. I'm eligible, but I don't have
So
one.
what are you waiting for?
When the Super League starts calling, that's when I'll...
Get in so you're not a quota player. Too smart.
Too smart. Looked into it.
Mm. Where's the roots in England?
My mum's side. So mum and dad, Geordies.
Oh, from Newcastle.
Yeah, so... then they made the trip over, and mum and her family were born and raised in Oz. But yeah.
So from one Newcastle to
the other. Novocastrian.
Fresh off winning the Dally M Hooker of the Year, how's all that digesting? How are you feeling after that?
Yeah, it was a good night. It was a good night to celebrate. I think Nico summed it up pretty good. I don't know if his speech was aired, but he sort of said it's hard when you get individual awards in a team sport. Like, everyone contributes, and he sort of said it's probably more a reflection of the people around you and coaches and a lot of people that have helped you over the years. So I think that's sort of what sums up awards when you're playing in a team sport.
I'm glad you've got that attitude to winning individual awards in a team sport, because it is bizarre, and I think it's a bit of an Americanization of like individual awards, and they've got to have them, and I get it.
Yeah, you got to have something, and you got to reward guys for working hard to get there. But there's a lot more that goes into it.
Yeah, it's not you need your players to generate quick play the balls.
Yeah.
You need your players to run into holes and whatnot, and you
get a lot of help along the way with your staff, with your coaches, and it's not just overnight. Like, it's a long journey. So,
was it a big night?
Yeah, it was. It was an enjoyable night. It's good to catch up with a few old friends that you don't really see too often throughout the year. And Dale Finucane, stringing away.
What about him busting out the guitar?
Yeah, isn't he a good man?
Don't you just wish he wasn't as good at it?
Yeah,
so it was almost like a little bit embarrassing and tokenistic.
Self-taught, like,
yeah,
come on, mate.
Like,
we get it.
Like,
you're good at everything.
Don't you just wish he was like out of rhythm, shit voice, and everyone's a bit like, like it's all a bit of an ongoing joke. Dale's convinced himself he's really good, but he can't understand that he's actually shit. But he's actually good, and it's.
I feel like he'd flip it. He'd have the steam coming out the ears, out the cauliflower ears.
He was like his voice, like, as if being a professional athlete isn't
good enough. You just go and teach yourself how to play guitar and sing. And
he doesn't write his own lyrics. He copies other people's songs. But I mean, you can't be perfect.
Yeah, he's got a lot on his plate.
He's got a lot on his
Give him
plate.
a break.
I did dabble. I was a singer-songwriter.
Did you? Yeah, Ed.
Yeah.
Ed Sheeran.
I only play songs I've written myself.
Dale looks up to you.
Mate, thoughts on Melbourne's season this year? You top four, but at times you just probably didn't look yourselves.
Yeah, I think we work hard, we're gritty. We got top four, which was, that's what you want. You want a second bite at it, and we put ourselves in that position. We weren't polished, but we were still winning games, and we do need to fine tune a few things with a bit of our footy, but yeah, we're still winning games, and like, we ended up finishing third.
Yeah, what? It's so bizarre, that, isn't it? Because top four finishing like third. It's
and it's not like no one was happy with finishing like third, or how we were playing to get there. So it's kind of like we knew we had so much room for improvement, but we just played a really bad game against the Broncos, and then, like momentum and probably on the back foot then. Had a win against the Roosters somehow. And then, Penrith just too classy. And it shows, I guess, that the 2 prelim finals show how good the Bronx and Penrith are with the score lines, and, it's going to be a close grand final.
Hey, can I ask you about this? And it is maybe a little bit awkward. In that game against the Roosters, right at the death, you were contacted hard, right?
Yeah.
You were?
Yeah.
I know you were.
I thought I was.
No, there's no, it's undeniable. You were, but you were in a position where you could have played the ball straight away, right?
Yeah.
But like the environment that we're in at the moment, it's not win at all costs, but it's doing whatever it takes to win.
Yeah.
And what it took for you, or you were you actually, were you thinking in your head, I've been hit, we're down by a point. Like, what is there anything going through your head there, or is it just instinct taking over?
Well, I don't really stay down for.
Yeah.
If I get hit, I won't really stay down. Like,
yeah.
If it's bad enough, you'll be on the ground, but or they'll see it. So, I've done it one. I remember doing it when they started cracking down on it a couple of years ago, and I did it staying down for a penalty, and then I watched the big screen, and it was just like
yeah,
there was nothing wrong. I was like, oh, I can't be doing that. So I don't really stay down, and then I knew the circumstance in the game, and as anyone would, it was do or die. You can get,
and you're playing by the
points.
rules.
Yeah, you're playing by the rules. I think everyone does it. Like,
well, for me, it's the environment that.
But then you look at Joe Tarpany the other week, where he stayed down just before Golden Point.
He did,
but then he got taken off for a HIA.
He did,
and he's probably like they probably needed him through that period.
That said, I think he did his job for the team.
Oh, he did his job, but
he did his job in order to get Canberra in a position to win the game.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, but then for him, like he probably wasn't. He probably didn't need to go for a HIA, but because he stayed down for so long,
but
they go, oh, it's a HIA.
But he earned his team a penalty.
Yeah.
Hey, was that a report? Can you remember if the perpetrator on Joseph Tarpany was a put on report?
No, I can't remember.
Maybe we need to go back and look at that, because Annesley after it said the reason you didn't get a penalty because it wasn't a reportable offence. I think that's right.
Oh,
did you get a?
No, I didn't look into it. We won.
Yeah.
So maybe if we lost, I would have been like looking into it a bit more. But
it was so funny to watch. Like you like looking at Ashley Klein just being like,
oh, it's a tough gig for them though.
Oh man.
Like the scrutiny that comes with being a ref, and
to be fair, it's not him. It's you're waiting for the bunker.
Him. Yeah, exactly.
Or he's waiting for the bunker.
He can get a call, but
do you think that's
our game's good at the moment?
It is, and I don't want to harp on about it, but do you think it'd be a better product without as much bunker interference?
I think it'd be more like, I was talking to the Uber driver actually on the way in. He was talking to me about it.
Mate, keep your powder dry for this, man. Like, you're wasting it on bloody Uber drivers.
Yeah. Man, he was talking about like how, even as a fan, like if there's a call that's wrong and it's like the bunker should be able to step in and say, hey, you got that one wrong. Like on the go.
I suppose it worked to your advantage a little bit in that game as well with the knock.
Did you see Cheese? Well, I made a break and I was running and I passed it and I was trying to support on the inside, and Cheese he had a hold of me, just holding me back, laughing at me.
Well, this is why, mate. I believe we can't have consistent bunker intervention because you could almost blow a penalty on every single play of the ball.
Yeah. Well,
like,
I don't know. I think it's just let the game go, and we make mistakes as players. So, everyone makes mistakes in their day-to-day job. Like, think about how many mistakes you're making in a day. Like, so when you're a ref, it's like some things are going to, there's so many rules that we don't even know about that they have to keep in their back pocket. And so I don't know. Just, I'm happy to just let the game go. And
I agree. I think the game would be better with that. Hey, when you when you caught that ball,
yeah,
were you thinking he's going to blow this?
No, I thought I caught it. I got little T-Rex arms.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Hey, moving on from Melbourne's season, how was the chat post game with Bellamy and the senior players, and what are you sort of anticipating in the off season? Can you see much change happening in the approach of the Storm?
Yeah, a little bit. Like Bells was we're always going to be a hard-working team, and that's priority. And he's always he doesn't really focus too much on attack. He's all in on defence. Like, so I think that's probably his main message is getting back to a good defensive team. And I think it's probably hard because like 10 years ago, Melbourne were everyone knew them as the top defensive team, wrestling and time and the play the ball, and it's like, and now we're nowhere near the top. So I think a lot of teams have adapted or do that better than us, and I'm not sure if it's just a bit of hesitation or what from our crew, but that's probably a big thing is just being a good defensive side. And we had a lot of guys leave over the last couple of years, and even the boys that left last season, like Jess, Ken, Foose and Cheese, like that's so much experience that week in, week out, like NRL players, like at a high level. So I think we've had a good year where we've had a few guys come through, and they'll be better for the run, like as we all will.
Yeah,
it's experience, it's games under your belt, and you just sort of take it in your stride and go again. Yeah.
Just on your role this year, it has changed a little bit. Like obviously it's a 17-man game now, but coming off the bench, is that something you prefer, enjoy, or what is the thing? Well, I'm assuming the thinking behind it is let players get fatigue set in, and then you come and take maximum advantage.
Yeah, a little bit. I enjoy it. Like it's a role I'm familiar with, and it just takes the sting out of the game a little bit. And I think the way the game is too, like momentum's so big in the game, and in the modern game, it's like if you can try and have your waves of momentum, and you get off to a good start, and then you can't go again or whatever. Like I think that's important, but I think it was just more looking at our team and what was sort of best for the makeup of trying to change a few things up with coming off the bench, and then like I said, trying to build that momentum again.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure. See what happens next year.
Yeah, do you think you can play your style for 80 and be as effective, or you think it's best suited to be?
I think like I was doing it majority of the start of the year, and then sort of changed a few things at the back end, just with probably the footy that we're playing and where we're at, and like I don't know, maybe it's see what Belzer sort of thinks of it and wants to do, but like I said, that's another year under our belt of experience, so go again on it.
Yeah. Hey, obviously you're entrenched in that Melbourne system. How is it that they seem to get the best out of some players? I think, to my experience of being with some of those players that are in your team or in your squad currently, like had a bit to do with Tyron Wishart at the Dragons.
Yeah.
And, was on a decent trajectory, but the opportunities were very limited for him there. Bronson Garlick was another one at the Dogs where, you know, when I saw his name on the team sheet for the very first time, I was genuinely like surprised. I thought, wow, he's, you know, I wasn't anticipating him playing. Good player, New South Wales Cup level, Queensland Cup level player, like did really well there, but probably wasn't anticipating him going on to play first grade as many times as what he actually has done. That's probably more of a fair reflection. And the same with Wishart, where it's like, I could see him playing a couple of games, but not excelling to the level that they both have.
Yeah, I think, I guess you get a clean slate too, like sort of not what you've done previous doesn't really count. I don't think Belzer will look into that. Like, if you're, say, Australian schoolboys or whatever, you're coming down, I don't think he'll give two shits and he wouldn't even know what it is. Like, if you're willing to work hard and you know, do those 1% things for the team, then you'll put yourself in a good position. And I think that's probably what it is. Like, everyone respects each other working hard and trying to be better every day. And when you got guys that come in that are like Brono and Wish, and they're very hungry, so they just chase. They know that they want to make it as a footy player, and they just chase that, and they get rewarded for their hard work. But yeah, Belzer's, he keeps it pretty simple.
Is that what it is? It's just a simple, just work hard for me, boys, and you'll get yourself into this team. Obviously, there's tactical applications.
Yeah. The assistant coaches probably do more of the tactical side, and Belzer gets the final say. But yeah, I think it's just more like, if you work hard, you'll put yourself in a good position, and yeah, who knows what can happen from there.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty cool.
Which is easy to say. Like, everyone can say, "Oh yeah, work hard," but he holds everyone accountable. Like, you come into the gym in the morning, you're like early to train, and 6 o'clock, Belzer's in the gym just flogging himself like every morning. Like,
something to be said.
Sounds a bit wrong.
Yeah, but there's something to be said to that. Like, to see your coach that's got thousands of things on his plate at any point in time, whether it be team selection, opposition, retention, recruitment. Yeah.
And he's just training hard in the morning. And but that's, I guess it's infectious. You see that and you go, well.
It's contagious as well. It sort of rubs off. And
he's like 100 and he's still doing it. So.
Hey, part of next season, fingers crossed, should see return to fitness of Ryan Papenhuyzen. We saw him come back from that devastating knee injury, and then suffer yet another injury setback. How was that for you guys to deal with emotionally more than anything?
Yeah, I think it was a long journey for him with the knee. Just given initially they thought he was going to, you know, he would have been back a whole lot sooner. Like, when he did it last year, they sort of said, well, you can push for finals. And whether that's just them being optimistic, trying to keep him in check with his rehab and like keep him on that really strict with it, like as physios probably do. They give you best case, and then it just got blown way out. I think he got a bit of swelling and infection early days, and it was a long journey for him. And then he came back, and it was like he was moving the same. He hadn't lost anything at all, and he sort of built some confidence. And and then that injury happened. It was like it was pretty scary when we were out there, because I seen he had a bit of blood on his finger, like he had finger tape on, and there was a bit of blood on it, and I thought it was from his ankle, and I was like, oh no, it's compound, like it's come through the skin, but he no compound, which is a big relief, and they're saying he should be ready to go in January, like return to training with the team and stuff. So you get a fair block there before the season starts.
Yeah, that's I think that's vital, isn't it? Like, you look at that spine that you've got if Papenhuyzen plays the majority of the season, yourself and the two halves makes a big difference. It's going to make a big difference.
Paps is he's a very out of the box thinker as well. Like he's a good leader in the sense that he always has different sort of views on things and will bring them forward. And I think as a team you got to have that balance. You can't have everyone like the same person. I think he does that, and then he brings it into a game where he's cool and calm and in any sort of moment, even though he looks like he's erratic, like he's so calm in his own mind. And when there's big moments, like he wants them. Like if the game's on the line, he wants to kick the conversion or have a crack at a field goal. Like that's sort of his mindset, and it's a big strength to any team. Yeah.
You know when he has these big injuries, do you ever sit him down and say like, "Come on, mate, you think that's bad? You want to see what I've been through? You want to see a sore leg?
You got no idea. You want to see a compound fracture? Take a look at this. Man, my shins, it's never gone back to the same.
Mate, I obviously doing a little bit of preparation for this interview, but I was unaware just how bad it was. And obviously the media sensationalised things, cheated death at one point.
Yeah. It's kind of like, I don't know. Like
was that with the leg where, because you ran over by a...
we were on a patrol, like surf life saving patrol, and we were in the ATV, like the little buggy, and I was in the passenger seat, and we were being silly, like we were going up the beach on like a roving patrol, and we were just being silly in it and flipped it, and like I fell out, and then the buggy like landed on my leg. So I was like,
how old are you at this point?
14. So I was pretty scared.
Did you pass out?
Nah, I was just in shock. I was just like drawing in the sand.
What, and you looked down and...
I looked down once and it was just, pretty yuck. So I just let it go.
Is that what caused the infection that nearly took you?
No, I had the infection the year before. So I had the infection in my shoulder. So that's why it was really scary with this, like, too.
Oh, right, okay.
Because I had the infection the year before in my shoulder, and that was probably worse. Like, I was almost brown bread then.
What do you mean? Like, what do you mean infection in your shoulder?
I had like staph infection, osteomyelitis.
From what?
I don't know. Like, I think everyone sort of has it. They sort of have the cells on their skin or something, and then it's triggered somehow. And I didn't have any cuts on my body. Like, I had a little scratch on my...
So you didn't even have like surgery?
Nah.
It just got into
Yeah,
you?
it just got in. Yeah. So that's why it was like random, because it was just like I'd just be like aches. Like, I just have a shoulder ache, and then like I'd have like cold sweats and stuff like that. And then it just got to a point where that was like a couple of days, and then I had a day off school. It was like a Friday, I remember. And then Mum and Dad come home, and they're like, oh, I was just passed out not passed out, but I was just sleeping on the couch all day, just rattled, and they're like, oh, we'll take you to the hospital. And I went up, and then, I sort of, just had a couple of surgeries on it. And so they opened it up first, and then it was fine. They couldn't find anything. And then they did another scan, and then it was like in the bone. So they had to cut bone out, like they had to go in, cut bone out, and then they like stitch it up. And then they did another scan, and then they like open it up because they left like bone floating in there. So they had to clean it out again. But it's funny because, I don't know, like, I guess it's part of your journey, but I sort of, I don't know, whenever I do like podcasts or they do talks and that, they always go back to those two, and I'm like, oh, it's not really, just, that's a little bit, but I don't know. It's a lot of people go through a lot of different stuff and face a lot of adversity, and
but I think
it's just part of your journey, I guess. So
I guess so. But that is, you got to understand that is incredibly rare for a teenager to go through.
Yeah, for sure.
issues like that, and then even just have to have being a professional athlete on the radar.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I like skim over it. I'm just like, oh, it was what it was, and you don't really want to make it. But it was a difficult time. It's probably like why you say to any kid that's sort of coming through, it's like you opportunities arise a bit later in your journey. Like, how many times you see now, like blokes making their NRL debut at 25, 26, 27 years old. So it's like you can be mature and developed, and because when you're a 13, 14-year-old kid and you're out on the sidelines, you're thinking you're missing out on playing NRL. Like that's your dream gone. But I think that's what it's definitely taught me, is there's a lot more opportunities down the track.
Can you actually remember, like, where your headspace was at during those times, or was it just, I've just got to get over this?
Yeah.
Or you're just
my parents were pretty good.
a teenager.
Like I said, I thought I was playing NRL. I thought I was going to get signed to play NRL as a 13-year-old. Like that's all you want, and you think that's important. Like those development years are important, but for me, that's when I sort of fell in love with surfing when I had my shoulder, like, because I couldn't do any contact sport because they took bone and that out. So after a little bit of rehab and that, then I could, the physios and the doctors said, yeah, do as much as you can. Like, it'll be good for it. So that's probably where I really started to enjoy that. And that's a good outlet now for me away from footy. So I guess, you can sort of take a positive out of everything.
So this infection, I've been told you're quite the infectious type.
Oh,
yeah. The staph infection.
That's the only reason you brought the staph infection up, because you just.
Well, it leads me.
You just wanted to alley-oop into this.
Into what? Well, what are you implying?
Well, I know you do a podcast with Cheese.
Yep.
And he's just going to come at me with the classic old, ringworm.
Well, you said it.
Yeah, mate, I haven't had a ringworm for a long, long time. And all I'm saying is ringworms come from cats, don't they?
I don't
historically
know.
Like that's sort of where they start. Yeah,
I've never you've clearly researched the subject of ringworms, mate.
The only NRL
I've
player.
never needed to. Never needed to type those words into a search engine. Ringworm.
Something else. You type something else in.
It seems apparent that this has been.
I'm just getting on the front foot because
on the front foot.
Yeah, like I'm just thinking. There's no player in the NRL that has a cat other than Hectic Cheese. And apparently ringworms come from cats. So, he'll deflect to other people, but I'm thinking he's patient zero.
Ah, whoever denied it supplied it.
Yeah, something like that. Now the whole... well, maybe we should check in with the Roosters, see if any of them boys are...
Yeah, that's...
they're just over the road.
Yeah. Just, hey, has anyone got ringworm? Because I think it's coming from Cheese. It is a bit weird how the ringworm can spread amongst rugby league players, isn't it?
It's just the easy joke now too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ringworm and boils.
Oh, yeah, as soon as anyone has like a...
It's just a little stab.
Have you suffered?
Nah, I had a couple like early when they first sort of hit the scene at the club.
Are you on the ringworm scene? The ringworm scene or the boil scene?
Nah, I'm not boils. That's Tino. No, ringworms are bloody, mate. Cheese and Cooper Johns, they got heaps. And Christian Welch, I think he's just a permanent ringworm.
Touch wood. Never had one. Never had one.
Careful. Do a podcast with Cheese. Keep it clean.
Well, surely all you need to do is shower.
With your jocks off.
Yeah, but don't you just need to just shower regularly to avoid
Christian
the ringworm?
Welch showers with his jocks on.
Is that what leads to ringworm and boils?
Yeah.
I thought it was just pure hygiene.
Yeah, it could be that too.
Rugby league players are disgusting, by the way. But glad you got to clear that up. Because it's a heavy accusation to throw at someone as being like that. But like you say, patient zero.
Yeah.
Or the the host, the ringworm host, the boil host.
Yeah. Well, there'll probably be a return serve. So
yeah, watch out for that.
I'll sit tight.
Mate, coming through at Melbourne, obviously with arguably the game's greatest ever hooker in front of you. Do you ever think like, fuck me, Cam, enough's enough? Can you just retire?
Nah, definitely. I was lapping it up, learning. Like when I first went there and you walk into the sheds, it was so like daunting. You got Smithy and Bill and Chambers, Jesse Bromwich. Like I was frightened to say boo. Like, so it was pretty cool. Like for us to start our journey, look at the players that we had those times. Like Tino, myself, like Drinky, Paps, Nico came a bit later. Like Brandon went to Crofty, like he's lighting up the Super League. Like it was pretty it's pretty surreal for us to sort of come through at that time when so many of the greats of the game are in your dressing room. And we're just lucky to get to learn off them and you get a sort of taste of what you need to do, and never seen anyone prepare like Bill. He's next level, the way he trains and shows now with his coaching, and Cam's just got it all in his back pocket. But it's pretty special to be able to, if there was anything about my game, like me and Brandon were the same, like if there was anything about our game, we could just go to Smithy and he'd have such a detailed answer for us, and then like you'd sort of be on the front foot straight away trying to work on it. Yeah,
well, there's one person who I know will be listening to this that is probably a little bit disappointed they didn't get a shout out because they lay claim to putting you through some rigorous tests during the Christmas break period up in Port Macquarie. Jeremy Lattimore tells me like you reached out to him on Instagram. Are you going to be in Port Mac? Should we do some training together?
Yeah.
And he showed you the ropes. Showed you what training hard was all about.
Yeah. Show me like, don't let yourself get to that point in the off season. Nah, what a good man. Yeah, nah. Big Latsy, he's the fearless leader. Used to start in under 20s actually. I'd go to Port Macquarie for a Chrissy holiday and hit him up. Didn't know him from Barasot, and he's like, yeah, come down the park, we'll do some training. Me and Sammy McIntyre, who's up at the Cowboys now, we're running rings around Latsy, and he was going, oh, shit, I think I need to hang him up. So he hung on for another couple of years, and it became a bit of a ritual in the off season or in the Christmas break to train together, and yeah, he'd show us the ropes.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. But back to coming through at Melbourne, obviously you've got Cam Smith, who was on a year-to-year deal towards the end. What's that like for a young hooker who's waiting in the wings? Obviously, you've got to be respectful of the legend, but you've got this drive, this ambition to crack it at first grade. Yeah,
well, I think for me it was a blessing because, like I said, I could learn off Smithy, but also I was just doing my time in the Queensland Cup and learning a lot of lessons there. So I played a game in 2018, game in 2019, but like they would just sort of throw off like my debut and that. Like I probably was so far behind the pace of NRL then, so it's not like I was ready then. So I think being like having those couple of years of Queensland Cup and learning about my game and about the game and the dummy half craft, and then sort of having Smithy there to lean on and Brandon as well. Like me and Brandon used to do so much work together too, just because we probably played similar and see the game the same way, whereas Cam was so calculated and you know what he was like, the way he played the game. It was chess. Me and Brandon are probably a bit more thinking, create and attack the game like that. But so yeah, it was good to sort of lean on each other, and then had that opportunity to go to the Tigers, and it was sort of worked out that I was ready then to play a bit of footy.
Was there ever a thought that you might, because the loan system doesn't really exist over here in Australia? I think it's something we should look to implement more moving forward. It's very prominent in all European leagues, Super League, soccer, football, whatever you want to call it. I think there's great advantage to have that for the individual, especially, and clubs get the benefit as well. The Tigers, no doubt, got the benefit, but with it being so rare over here, was there ever a consideration that you would just move to another club on a permanent fixture, permanent deal?
That I would have?
Yeah. Yeah, was that ever entering your head at the time where you thought I probably need to move to advance my own career?
No, not really. I looked at that's how the British passport came about. I looked at going like Super League just to change it up. Like I'd played 2 years of Queensland Cup, and my dad's got a little bar at home, and he drinks cans and comes up with these great ideas, and got a lot of time to think there. And I think he sort of just thought, oh, well, that might be a new scene, a new challenge to go over there. So I sort of floated that with the club, and that's
to go to Super League on loan?
To go to Super League for a year.
And then
come back.
Right, okay, okay.
Like, you know, just keep developing different parts of your game and playing a different brand of football. And then I went to Craig and sort of said, oh, like, what do you think of this idea? And he's like, oh, mate, I sort of tossed something similar up to the crew at the end of season review. This was 2019. And he said, and everyone sort of shot me down. Like, he was sort of saying to put me on loan to like another NRL team or whatever. So he's just said, like, why don't you try and do another NRL team before? And if that doesn't work out, if you want to try and go over there for a look, you can. But
always with the view to coming back to Melbourne.
Yeah.
It was never like go.
No, it was never like go. It was just like something. Yeah, I don't know. Just didn't. You got to think a bit different and challenge yourself. And I was a bit hesitant at the start when I first sort of thought about it. And I was like, oh, it's a pretty cool opportunity. You get to travel while you're young and play footy and try and challenge yourself. But and then Bells was like, oh yeah, like even if it's not till after trials, like trial matches, a lot of players get injured and stuff. He's like, spot might arise there, and then it just worked out. Yeah, the Tigers were keen.
The NRL had a little bit of pushback though.
Yeah,
like they went.
I think.
Can you recall like what their rationale was for? Yeah,
I think
not wanting this to be allowed or not wanting this to happen.
Yeah, I think it was. It was pretty hard. I don't know. I think it might have been something to do with salary cap. Like, the players have got to be similar or something like that. Like, I think it's, yeah.
But if the Tigers have room in their cap, what does it matter?
Yeah.
Because you were on a player swap. It wasn't necessarily the traditional loan system like what happens in Europe.
Yeah, I'm not really sure the ins and outs. I know it took a long time, and there was a lot of back and forth. I had about 12 going away parties. I was like, boys, I'm going.
This is definitely this is my last night out in Melbourne. Promise you.
Promise, you got to shout me this last dinner. We had a few, and then just didn't come. And then all of a sudden, we just did the life swap. Me and Mamas moved up to Sydney. He moved down to Melbourne. He just took my bed and just left my wardrobe there for him. And
you literally did house swap as well?
Yeah, we did house swap. So he moved in with Kim Johns. And and Mama's just full, like, was just sleeping in my bed. And
how good.
Yeah, it was good.
Would you encourage more players to do it? Do you think it's got, do you think there'd be an appetite for players?
Yeah, I think for sure. Jesse Arthurs, he rang me was it last year at the start because we played under 20s together at Melbourne, and then he was at the Bronx.
Oh, he went to Warriors.
And he went to the Warriors. And he rang me. He's like, oh, "What do you reckon?" I was like, if you're not gonna play NRL at the Broncos and they want you to play NRL at the Warriors, it makes sense. And whenever you can get an opportunity to play NRL, it's like you got to take it. And look at his year now. It's like he probably, he had a great year last year with the Warriors and got a whole lot of experience. And then he's playing in a grand final and he's keeping Corey Oates out of the side. So,
you know what?
I think there's so much merit to it.
There definitely is, and it can be used for the club's advantage. So, a couple of incidences I'm thinking of. Well, they both involve Jonathan Thurston. So, imagine if Kalen Ponga coming through at the Cowboys. Obviously, you can see this talented individual, the whole heap of potential that obviously has now gone on to win a Dally M medal.
Yeah,
but like at the Cowboys. And they're like, well, we can't quite get you in because for reasons.
Lachlan Coote there.
Yeah, but they're not that far away from moving on.
Yeah.
And we can see something in you. Probably just need a little bit more polish. Let's see if someone wants to take you on. Start to unearth that talent and then we'll bring you back. And obviously I said Thurston because he was sort of in the halves. Obviously, Kalen Ponga plays fullback, but then Thurston at the Dogs, when he was behind, I think, Sherwin at the time.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, what do we do? Do we keep this older statesman in? Or do we move him on early and get this young whippersnapper? But I'm sure if the Dogs, going back then, if they had that ability to, say to Jonathan Thurston, do you want to go on loan? Like, he'd be keen to play. And, he, from all accounts, wanted to stay at the Dogs at the time. Things look a little bit differently.
Yeah. And it's like better for the game. You have so many people coming through and like you have a lot of injuries. Like you look at squads and injuries that players get or teams are left with. And it's like you can sort of plug some holes with players from other teams. It's only going to make the game a better product at the time and then down the track too. So
well, absolutely, it makes the game as a whole better because realistically, if you're staying at Melbourne that season, I
wouldn't have played any games because
you wouldn't have played any games.
And also, COVID.
Did you play Origin that year?
Yeah, I played Origin that year.
And Australia.
Nah, not Australia.
But you played Origin that year.
I played Origin.
Yeah.
So I was like, crazy. Like that's one of my best memories and favourite games to be a part of, my Origin debut, and just the way it all panned out, it was pretty cool.
I think it's something that we do need to look at and encourage.
Yeah, especially and the game wants to keep expanding, like bringing more teams in. It's like you can fast track people's development, and then the game's going to be in a whole better position, and the new club will be in a better position. Like,
well, and also giving some of those players exposure to first team football. You'd had a taste of it, but relatively unknown.
Yeah.
At the time, and within the space of 12 months, you go from this fringe Melbourne Storm player with a fair bit of potential to I think in most people's opinion, the best hooker that year. And playing in the State of Origin, and without that, who knows what happens? Like, you just may never get that opportunity. Melbourne hold on to you, but they're holding you back a little bit, and you're probably not aware of, your.
If you're comfortable in the NRL, like if you've
just got the this is okay. I'll spend a little bit more time, and then Cheese gets the starting dummy half role. You're just behind him, and. It hampers your.
It's weird how it sort of works out. But I was like that because, like I said before, like 2018, 2019, like I just felt like I was off the pace with like NRL, and even that season before 2020, we played the Nines, and like I thought that would be a good game for me, but I was like, my lungs were holding on, and I just didn't feel like I was very influential in that, like in that format, in that game. And I was like, oh, maybe I am still like behind.
Yeah.
So when I went to the Tigers, like that was a couple months later, after like a bit of the COVID, like the comp went on pause, and I went to the Tigers, and I was like so nervous, just like am I good enough? Like, am I ready? Like, and you just you have to prove to yourself every week, prove to your teammates, and that was probably the best thing for me because I was going into a whole new environment. And I just wanted to earn some trust and respect from the players, the coaches, and I guess that's what as a player you do every week. But it was probably a bit more magnified because it was a new look at a loan deal sort of thing.
Yeah, well, it certainly showcased your talents. I guess that probably one of the big worries for the clubs is hang on, if he goes somewhere else, really likes it,
he might coming back.
He might not come back, or realistically, your price gets inflated at a quicker rate.
Yeah.
So had you stayed at Melbourne, you would have been okay. Then one of the next in line dummy halves at a certain price point, because we are a salary cap sport. We need to take this into consideration. Where hang on a minute, Melbourne, and credit to Bellamy and Panisi and the rest of the staff behind this decision. They probably were more aware of your potential.
Yeah.
You go there, and then all of a sudden, you're playing for Queensland, and with all that comes this new price tag. So, and you've gone to a new.
But they did it too smart because before I left, they said sign this. So I said, beauty, I'll sign this.
Yes, but
But like that's the thing.
Yeah.
Is like I was like, well, I'd signed before. Like it sort of came up, but I was like, I'm invested in the club. Like I just signed for 3 years.
Well, they probably need to do that to stop you from.
I'm going to be here. So chase this opportunity, and then I'll be back for those, the 3 years following.
We're going to take a quick break from the podcast to tell you about AG1, the daily foundational nutritional drink with all your needs in the one place. I like to look after my health, and AG1 takes care of that for me. No more tablets, vitamin pills, all the health nutrition I need, all in the one place. Every single morning, it's as easy. Open up the fridge, scoop of AG1 in a glass, cold water, stir it with a fork, drink it. It tastes great, and it helps me know. It gives me the peace of mind that all my nutritional needs are taken care of, all in the one drink. It really is as simple as that. And also, anybody that knows anything about health benefits knows that it comes with adding simple routines to your day. It's not about magic pills. They're not going to work. AG1 helps me be the best version of myself by having this new habit of every single morning having that drink. I know my nutritional bases are covered thanks to AG1. A lot of athletes are now taking AG1, and with 75 high quality ingredients, it's no wonder why. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then try AG1 and get a free 1 year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/buy round. That's drinkag1.com/buy round. Check it out. Yeah, not to gloss over too much your time at the Tigers, but you go back and it's you and Brandon Smith, which, some teams go with the two hooker model. Obviously, you're doing it a little bit at the moment. Was it ever awkward between the two of you? Obviously, good friends, but fighting for the same position.
Nah, not at all. I think, like I said before, like we see the game similar, so we spent so much time sort of trying to like play, and we'd play the same. So it's probably easier in that sense that like we didn't have two different dummy halves. Like we're probably pretty similar. And like we were just like, let's just win games. Like happy to win games. And I know like Cheese was like keen to start, and then it's the way his like sort of build, and he can have that ability to move to lock and be just as damaging there. So it sort of yeah, it worked out perfect. But yeah, I was just like, we were in some good form that year. Like we missed an opportunity there to go on with it, but I think it was just like we're just happy to do whatever for the team, and look at that side. It was pretty special, and it's a regret that we didn't go on and do anything with it.
But weren't you and Cheese vying for the number 9? He obviously made the decision to move up here to Sydney. Were you ever thinking it might be you that moved? Like I say, Brandon did have that ability to move into the lock forward, but then that impacts the person who plays lock forward, and then that's not limiting on your style of football, but it's a very positive style to have. Okay, well, if Brandon starts after 20, he moves back to lock, and then you come on. Like, that's good, but it might not be a tactic that would work against every team.
Yeah, well, not work against every team, but we could make it work for us.
Yeah, be your style. This is what we do.
I think that 21 year, like I had a few injuries. I had an MCL in the trial, and then a couple little niggling hamstrings. So I was a bit in and out, and like it just like Cheese sort of secured that spot. And then when I was coming back, I was like, I'll bring you off the bench, and then it sort of just worked for the first couple of weeks. And they're like, oh, that suits, like that fits, and fits sort of the way we want to play. So we just roll with that. But I think it depends on the makeup of your forwards too. Like the minutes that they're punching out. Like you look at, say, the Broncos, like they got Paddy and Payne that'll play, the first 60 minutes if they have to, and that's how Billy and Tyson Smoothie will come on. And Tyson's like, Bill's probably more of a runner than Tyson. Tyson's like a game manager. So it's sort of flipped in a sense there, where Bill's with him early as a runner, and then Tyson comes on to just sort of like steer the ship for a bit.
But with all due respect, they're not Harry Grant, the Australian dummy half, and they're not Brandon Smith, the New Zealand dummy half. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you can have it Cheese start, move to lock, but then if that lock's any good, he's going to want to play more than 20 minutes.
Dale.
Then Dale would have to move to maybe front row, which then impacts your front row. It's okay. That's probably a more smoother transition.
Someone's missing out on a bit of footy. Like
that's it. Yeah. And you can set your team up to do that, but then you've got to have a lock that has the ability to play prop, and it is a different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
So, look, you could, but it's almost. I think it's probably
depends what players you.
It's improbable to have the Australian Queensland dummy half as well as the New Zealand dummy half.
Oh yeah, it would be good if.
Well, you had that.
It'd be nice.
You had that, didn't you?
Yeah. Then he left. He just wanted the glamorous eastern suburbs.
Were you sad when you left?
Uncle Nick.
Were you sad when you left?
Yeah, I was. We were all sad. We had a lot of those boys. They had Storm DNA. You talk about Jess and Kenny and Foose and Cheese there too. They won competitions at the club, and I think they love the club. They love the people that are involved, and it was definitely everyone was sad. It's at the end of the day, it's footy, honest. You know what I mean.
You can't be honest.
As well. I told him to beat it.
Look at what I've got the number
now. Nah, I think everyone misses each other, and it's weird that you take it for granted at the time. Like you'd be the same with some of the guys that you've played with, and then they've left, and like you take it for granted, and it's so good because when you get back together, it's like everyone, it's like some of your good mates. When you get back together, like it's like nothing's changed. But like some of my closest mates that I sort of came through, like they've all left the club, like Tino, Nico, Cooper, Cheese, and it's like you look forward to those times where you get to play against them, or you do get to hang out because it's pretty special.
It is, mate. It's funny cool. That how you both play football. That's what brings you together.
Yeah.
At a random club, like you grew up in Queensland. He grew up in New Zealand on Wahiki Island, but so he claims. But then he moved to the main island, and then just randomly you end up in this in Victoria, Melbourne.
Yeah,
and you become the best of mates, and then you don't realise sometimes until they're gone. It's like, oh.
Yeah, you think it's going to be there forever.
Like, you do that, well, and that's probably the way to be. That is the way to be. Like you can't be sat there like, one day this is going to end.
It's going to end.
I'm not going to be in a car with you one day.
But it's so good because like all the boys that are in the NRL like will come through like the systems, like absolute legend. Like Tarek Sims, he's had the 1 year with us and he's just announced like he's leaving. But I'm so glad I got the opportunity to play alongside him and have him as a teammate because, you'll share that forever. You'll be wherever you go. Like you might not keep in contact weekly, monthly, like text message, but when you see each other,
it's just
or when you're there, it's like, let's go and have a beer, and it's the same thing. It's like anyone. It's pretty special. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. You might be coming up against Cheese in the rep season. Australia play New Zealand.
I think Australia, Samoa, New Zealand. There's Tri-Nations, but I'll wait and see. I haven't got the call yet, so.
Oh, okay. You run with that line then, mate. If we're not going to talk about that, let's talk about Queensland. If we're talking representative football. So, one parent from Queensland, one parent from New South Wales, in specifically PMAC, Port Macquarie.
Jeremy Lattimore country.
Keys
to the city.
Yes, he does. He's telling me he's going to open a bar there.
Or he's barred from every pub.
He's found a way to get around that. He's actually, last time I spoke to him, he's buying a bar with a couple of friends up there.
He asked me to come up for the grand final.
So did he?
I haven't replied to him yet.
Mate,
after Mad Monday, I was like, no, definitely not going there.
He'll be trying to get you to do like little freebies. Oh, come on, mate, you're a local lad. Just come back.
Give back to the community.
I'll give you a free beer. But now, so you're representing Queensland. Obviously, an incredibly proud moment. But then you've got, your pop, your dad, a heap of family from PMAC entrenched in New South Wales. What? So I think back to all those moments where I called my dad to tell him I was getting my England debut and my grandfather. Like those calls, but what's it like when you have to call your dad and say, I'm playing for Queensland?
Well, it's pretty cool. Like, I guess it's competitive. Like, it was always competitive through when you're growing up watching it. It's like Queensland, and if Queensland won, it was like, there you go, Dad. Like, good on you. Unlucky, but I think that series 2020 when I sort of made the squad and we had an extended squad and it was like a 4-week block, so it was pretty cool. It was pretty special to be a part of. You don't know if they're going to do it like that ever again, but he sort of said, it's like, well, I'm still going for New South Wales unless you play. So the first 2 games he was going for New South Wales, and then I played for, and then he's like, oh, you got picked, so I'll change. I'll be supporting Queensland tonight. So I got him over the line pretty quick.
That's love.
But got Nan and Pop over the line pretty quick.
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah, they jump ship. But see, you don't see it go the other way often. You don't see many Queenslanders support New South Wales.
You don't?
Maybe you support.
Maybe there's something in that. I support the game.
Yeah, the greatest game of all.
I support the game. The game is the winner. The more controversy, the better. No, I guess watching it growing up, don't know what it was.
Yeah.
Blues. Just, yeah.
Oh, you go Blues? Yeah.
And I do live
probably
here.
to, like, successful too. Like, you just, were they, like, winning through that time? Like, they had a fair run?
Yeah, not, like, ridiculous. But,
yeah.
I don't know. an Everton fan, so I like blue.
Yeah.
And then I do live here, like in New South Wales, so I wouldn't want to be that tosser that's like, oh, I moved over from England and then, oh, I'm a big Queensland fan in, like, you know, in New South Wales. Like you're just
playing straight bat.
You just look like a bell end, wouldn't you? So,
Yeah.
and then I've played with, you know, lads when I was at the Bulldogs and the Dragons that were, you know, probably more representative of New South Wales. So, yeah.
Trent Hodkinson.
He did. Broke your heart, didn't he?
Move up to Yeppoon now, actually.
Where's your poon?
Next year, knife and fork.
Hey!
Bada bing, bada boom. It was coming. It was coming.
That's brilliant. But yeah, you got them over the line. That's
got them over the line.
That must be love. That must be love.
It must be.
For
the love of the game.
Or for the game. Do you think it means more to Queenslanders then? Because maybe that what you're saying speaks volumes. Like, if the shoe was on the other foot, do you reckon your Queensland side of the family, had you have, I don't know, say if you grew up in PMAC and you went on to represent New South Wales, do you think your Queensland family would turn?
Don't know. Don't have to. Don't have to worry about it. It's not happening.
Because you know they wouldn't, right?
Oh, you wouldn't know. You'd have to wait, and when the situation arose, then you'd have your answer. But
all right, okay.
For now, I don't have to worry about that.
This is a tough interview, mate. Do you think it means basically what I'm trying to get at?
Tracy Grimshaw.
Basically, what I'm trying to get at. Do you think it means more to Queenslanders?
Nah, I don't.
Oh,
we enjoy. Everyone enjoys Origin. Everyone enjoys Origin. No
that wasn't the question. I didn't ask you. Do you think everyone enjoys it? That wasn't part
I know
of the
it means
question.
a lot to me.
You've given me an answer to a question I didn't ask.
I know playing for Queensland means a lot to me.
But do you think it means more to people of Queensland?
Well, I know it means a lot to them too.
That's not the question.
I couldn't tell you what it means to Jeremy Lattimore. Like,
yeah,
he probably would know.
Didn't Freddie Fittler miss an opportunity by not picking him?
Maybe he was their saviour.
Mate, you know,
maybe he's the new coach.
Maybe he is.
Maybe we found the coach, Jeremy Lattimore.
Well, morale.
Head of culture.
Head of culture. He'd be like, what was Caleb Presley's beginning job? And do you know who Caleb Presley is?
No.
He works for Barstool Sports, but he was like, he had a specific role, head of morale, chief morale operator.
Chief morale.
Like he was down sideline. That's how he began. You know, it was funny when I think when Freddie used to come to a lot of training at 2018, like looking at Frizzell, DeBellin, Sims.
He'd be watching training.
Yeah, he used to come and watch training.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, see how people conduct themselves.
Yeah.
Jerry would always like, hey,
I'm over here.
I'm your man. Watch me play this ball. Like, fucking brilliant. And yeah, Freddie took it in good spirits.
You want 15 minutes off the bench? I'm your man.
Yeah.
I've taken down Cam Smith once. I'll do it again. He got him, mate. He got him in the gonads.
Great word.
Great word.
Gonads. One of my
one of your favourites. I reckon you'd have a few too.
Yeah, I do enjoy the word gonads. But anyway, mate, future. What are you looking to achieve? Do you have much stuff going off the field as well? Or are you the all in football type?
Yeah, I'm sort of all in footy. Like, I don't really have too many plans outside in terms of like studying. Or when I first come through under 20s, I did 2 years of a electrical apprenticeship, and I tried to continue doing that when I first started full time with the Storm. It was hard, like, to be training full time and trying to have that, like, on a day off you'd be working, I loved it, like, but to try and get the TAFE side of things done was set up, like, it was every Thursday was TAFE. It was like sometimes we'll train on a Thursday, so I sort of put that on the back burner, and now it's probably all that work's probably past and won't mean too much, but so I did enjoy that. So whether I try to finish some sort of trade certificate.
You seem quite a smart dude.
Yeah, I do. I do enjoy like that hands-on sort of seeing something go from nothing to something like. But I'm also like, if you do it right now, you can open some doors for yourself, and yeah, if you're a little bit smart now, it can work out. So it's kind of like just enjoy footy, and the better you play, the more opportunities it'll open. And
yeah, I think
that's part of it, I guess.
Yeah, there is something to be said to that. Like, look, I know the RLPA have a big focus on those pathway systems, like developing young talent, and the importance of having other interests, other avenues to go down, because it can end very suddenly, and I think it makes a more rounded person. But there is something to be said for the all-in footballer.
Yeah,
and what's the right word? Like a singular focus. Like,
yeah,
I think some people need that.
Yeah, I like being busy. Like I'm not like footy and just day off footy. Like, I like being busy and trying to learn. Like, say like real estate. Like I'd get invested and try and learn as much as I can about that side of things, or whatever. And I don't really learn unless I talk to people or have those conversations or put myself out there. So I do like to do that as it goes.
What do you mean? Like, put yourself out there and do that? Like,
be shy and just not ask questions, or like.
Oh, so you'll go to like.
I'll go and, whether you sit down with a real estate agent, or you know what I mean. If you want to learn a bit about property, and it's like, call him up, you go sit and take you to a few places, and
it's Harry Grant here.
You learn about.
I'm coming down.
Yeah, you learn about that. Like, so that's pretty cool. That's sort of how I learn best. Is more, and like I can't look at a laptop and research a lot of things and pick it up. It's more conversations you have with people. Like, it's like Origin. Like, you get in camp, and you get to learn off like those guys like Ches and Dozer. Like, they've been around the bush for a long time. Lindsay Collins, he's a switched on man. So
mate, he's a very good player.
Very good player.
I enjoy watching him.
But it's like, you get in the sauna, and the sauna chats are the best. Like, the boys are just talking about things outside of footy, and it's pretty interesting.
What's your contribution in the sauna chat then?
Nah, I'm just sitting in the corner
listening. You're just quietly listening, taking it all in.
I'm just sitting in the corner with Alfie. Just going, Alf, save me. He's the best, eh? Alfie's always in the sauna. Just probably puts his body through a hammering and
sweats it out
the next day.
How good. So you don't really have a sort of plan for post-football coaching, or you just...
I'd like to stay in sport now that I've been involved in a professional organisation, but I don't think I'm still... Yeah, I haven't really achieved enough to be able to... You know what I mean? It's sort of something that interests me, but I don't think... Yeah, it's still hopefully a while away. But when I was first coming through, I probably never thought about coaching, but as you get a little bit older and you start being a bit more invested in, like, when you first come through, you don't have to be as hands-on with the footy side of things, but as you get a little bit older, you sort of start to be a bit more invested in the style of play or learning the game, and it starts becoming interesting, and seeing players develop is pretty good too. So I've sort of said a lot without saying much at all.
That's all right, mate. That's why we're on the podcast. It's the beauty podcast. Mate,
someone's on a long drive somewhere, just listen to me and you dribble.
Mate, you know what's crazy, right?
I have no idea what Harry's going to do after footy.
You come across as very intelligent and switched on, smart, polite young man that I don't care what Brandon Smith and Jeremy Lattimore say about you. I think you are a good bloke, and I don't even. Before we do the 4 questions that we do for each and every guest, I don't even think that Cheese's story that he told me about you waking up in a lady's porch is true on Mad Monday. I just don't believe that. No,
happened. I don't think it is either. You don't remember it.
No,
it doesn't happen.
No,
but I think you got a similar story, don't you?
Do I?
Well, I was at the Dally M's the other night, and I was sitting next to Josh Morris.
Oh yeah.
I said about Jimmy, and I said any stories, and he said, I was asking him about the four sip a pint.
Oh.
So the story is that Jimmy likes to, play a few games, and when he's drinking, it's any drink you got to finish it in 4 sips.
4 visits.
4 visits.
I went through a bit of a phase,
Yeah.
And this was through a friend of mine, and he would only, for each pint of beer, it would be like he'd only have 4 visits, and it leaves the marks on the lines on the beer.
That was your first, and then your second.
He would only have 3 lines on it.
Yeah. So yours is 4. So he's got going playing the game, and I think he said he did a number on you, or you did a number on each other.
Mate.
And long story short, get to your apartment, up the stairs, there's like a shoe at the bottom, and there's another shoe, then there's the trousers, then there's the jocks, and here's James Graham passed out nude in front of his front door.
No,
on the steps.
The clothes were on. I think I remember. I do know the time he's thinking of. But I was fully clothed.
Fully clothed?
Yes, fully clothed. Outside the front of my own apartment.
See, we've all been there.
Yeah, we have. And, mate, it's all part of the dance.
But you were nude and I was...
Nah, that's a false accusation.
A bit of GST, you reckon?
Beyond GST. Beyond GST. And, yeah, if that's the worst of it, then I'll take that.
I'll wear it?
Yeah, I'll wear that. But, again, I do not believe...
There's another one, I think.
Is there?
He did tell me another story.
Did he tell you another story?
Yeah.
What's that?
The bar fridge in Brizzy, I think.
Yeah, we emptied the car. Yeah, well, he flipped me over on a bed.
Yeah,
so
he hang cleaned you or something when you were sleeping on the bed.
I was asleep, woke up to being flipped. So
yeah. So you go to the mini bar and you just unleash cans at him.
Yeah. Well, he deserved it. I was aiming for him as well.
Didn't you clean the wall up or something? There was a few holes in the wall.
I don't think the wall was too damaged.
Just Josh.
Just like skimmed Josh's leg and hit the floor. And yeah, it was,
see, I do my research too.
Yeah. So back to the story. I can't.
Now you're gonna
Cheese cannot be telling the truth, mate. Some of the things he accused you of, like waking up in a random lady's porch.
He's good. I'll tell you what, Cheese.
No, wait, whoa. Let's go back, mate, because otherwise I'm just going to have to keep circling this.
No, like I said, we've all been there. We just moved, so I didn't know, like I had no perception of where I was. Me and Cooper Johns just moved to Richmond. It was like a new apartment that we moved into. And when I woke up, I had no idea where I was. And I was like 50 metres from the house. But it was just, I made it to the wrong street and yeah.
Drats. And did somebody wake you up?
Yeah. Coppers.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
What had the...
Nah, the people called and just said, we got something. Because I fell over and I cut my eye. It's a bit of a story.
Well, you fell over in the process of...
must have fell over like on the process, cut my eye. And so they didn't know if I'd been in a fight or something. So they rang the cops and then...
Shouldn't you ring an ambulance?
Yeah. So then the cops and then I got the ambulance and then...
Were you okay?
They must have leaked it to the media.
Did this story get out?
Yeah.
Were you in Barney Rubble for it or?
No. Everyone has those days.
Yeah, it wasn't like... Did you have to speak to Melbourne about it or it was just...
No, they were cool. They were just like, look, you just had a few too many beers and that was it. He's like, you didn't do anything wrong, but
yeah,
just it's a learning curve for you.
Learn where you live.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's always handy. Did you speak to the people's apartment that it was? Was it an apartment or house?
Yeah, I went back around there and dropped them some flowers and a case of beer.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
Yeah, I just said sorry. So
yeah.
They were good though.
Yeah, good on you. Yeah. Well, there's a different version of events.
What the Cheese told?
Yeah.
What is it? I don't know if I want to know his.
No, you probably don't.
You know him. It's a lot of GST. It was
Well.
just a, yeah, it was just a mistake. I just found
That's
the
all right.
wrong house and had a little, went to sleep.
Wrong house
Like you.
happens. You know, sometimes you make it up the stairs, sometimes you don't.
Sometimes you don't. Clothes on, clothes off.
Optional. No, I'm technically not in the own house.
Yeah, you're not there yet.
Yeah. Luckily, I was good friends with the neighbours.
Yep, the body corp after that.
Sorry?
The body corp.
What's body corp?
The fees. You got.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I thought you meant my body. I was like, body? Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I do know what you mean, body corp. Yeah, geez, they don't miss you. But no, thankfully, it didn't go up after that. All right, we got 4 questions for each and every guest. First part of this is all thanks to Tooheys. Tooheys are all about teamwork. Each team needs a spine to produce high quality teamwork. You're a member of the spine, but can you give us your dream spine, the 1, 6, 7, 9, and please feel free to include yourself if you
Current players or past?
Mate, there's no rules. There's no rules here at the buy round. We're going to let you spout off false accusations about me. Mate, you can clearly see we're not a rule-based show.
Do you want to be in the 6?
I mean, I can, if you want me. If you,
Nah, I don't say.
If that's in your dream, in your fantasy.
Jeremy Lattimore at 1. Jeremy Lattimore at 6. 7 and 9, Jeremy Lattimore. I'd probably have to wind the clock back and go Bill at fullback. I'd probably just go the Queensland spine. Bill, JT, Lockyer. I loved Lockyer growing up. He was my favourite player. And Smithy.
Yeah, nice. You wouldn't put yourself in there.
Definitely not.
In your dream, think about this.
To go and play with them.
It's your dream spine.
Yeah,
like,
so you get to go and play
you're
with
the
them.
dream. You're existing this dream in some capacity.
So, but maybe you put yourself so you get the opportunity to play with them.
What's better, playing with someone else or playing with yourself?
I don't know. Good question. You're looking deep into my eyes.
Can I ask you a question? When I said about the dream spine,
Yeah.
it did come. It seemed like your reaction was one of like surprise and shock. Did Charlie message you that we were going to do this?
Is that a trick question?
No, it's a legitimate question. He did.
He did.
All right. Did you actually read it? Because normally people go, "Oh, right, yeah." You look surprised that.
Yeah. No, I just didn't know where you were going to start with it.
Ah, right, okay. Because sometimes Charlie doesn't message the guests.
Oh, okay.
These things.
So you're saying he doesn't do his job?
I am saying that.
Okay.
He can be a bit slack on that front. And I've actually had someone on LinkedIn recently reach out asking if they could help me out with the buy round. I'm considering having a bit
knifing him and getting someone else in.
We'll just call it a restructure.
Why don't you just run it yourself? Look, I heard you do like your pennies, so you'd be cutting costs.
Do I?
Yeah.
Who told you that?
Dale.
Dale.
Yeah.
Mate, are you joking?
Everyone Dale told me.
No, that's no. It's all for the love. It's all for the love. If football didn't exist, what do you think you'd be doing?
Would I want to be doing, or what? Because I'd like to be a professional surfer. That'd be a good run.
Charlie's not messaged you these. You're covering for him.
Nah, yeah.
Or he messaged you on the way. And oh, sorry, mate. But I was supposed to send this.
Nah, I had a big day yesterday, so I just didn't give too much attention.
Glad to see you treat this podcast as seriously as what Charlie does. No, what do you think you'd be doing? I'm not. Well, I mean, what you like. What do you think you'd be doing?
That'd be pretty fun. But yeah, I'd say I'd be doing a trade. Yeah, I'd be on the tools.
Fair enough. A sliding doors moment that you think about the alternative happening. So for me, it may be, had I not come to these sunny shores and stayed in England, or what would life have been like?
I guess we spoke about mine probably a bit. As the Tigers, like that.
Yeah,
that was a great sliding door moment. Opened a lot of doors and a lot of opportunity.
Nice.
Thanks.
Pleasure. The most interesting person that you've met along the way so far?
I do like my pop. My pop's very interesting. Like, I could sit there. He's got like this little sunroom outside, you know, the house, and the old people, they sit out the back of the house, and Alex just sitting there, and he just tells stories. Like, he can remember who he had a schooner of beer with at bloody Port Macquarie pub 20 years ago to this day. Like, he'll tell you the story, but he's very interesting. But the one guy that's like so knowledgeable is Matty Johns. Geez, Matty's good. Like, because I did the show last night, and it's sort of the things he's talking about, and like what he doesn't know, he probably makes up, but I don't know, so I'm not going to question it. But he's a very interesting man, isn't he?
Very interesting, intriguing.
Yeah.
Intelligent.
So much knowledge.
Yeah, very intelligent.
About broad knowledge. Can't say the same about his sons, like Jack and Cooper. Like, they're not very interesting. They're pretty boring, but Matty's up there.
Yeah,
so I'd go
Pop and Matty Johns. We said the most interesting person, not persons.
Nah, just get them together and
get them together.
Yeah,
fair enough. All right, well, thanks for joining us on the Buy Around interview show, mate. We really do appreciate you coming on, and all the very best in hopefully receiving a phone call from Melbourne Inga at the time that this goes out. That will already be confirmed. They're going to make a wild prediction that you'll be playing for Australia. So good luck with all that, and
thank you.
All the very best for the up and coming seasons with the Melbourne Storm.
Easy done. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Lodge.